Good morning, everyone. All right, today is going to be day 4, which is going to be in Micah 5. And yes, I'm a day late. Yesterday, we got up at 3:30 in the morning. It's a travel day to Baltimore, so I'm in a hotel in Baltimore right now. Very cold Baltimore, and I'm here for the Army Navy game. Go Army! And yeah, so like I said, today is it's going to be reading in Micah 5, and it's very interesting to me as I'm reading these Old Testament prophecies that, yeah, it's about the birth of Jesus, but it keeps being connected to Israel and uh, and the remnant of Israel. And I'm going to come back to that because there's I don't know, for me personally, it answers some things that I didn't really understand. But if I read, it says, "But you, O Bethlehem, are only a small village among the people of Judah, yet a ruler of Israel, whose origins are in the distant past," so that's important, "will come to you on my behalf. The people of Israel will be abandoned to their enemies until the woman in labor gives birth. Then at last his fellow countrymen will return from exile to their own land, and he will stand to lead his flock with the Lord's strength in the majesty of the name of the Lord his God. Then his people will live there undisturbed, for he will be highly honored around the world, and he will be the source of peace." So, they're talking about a ruler whose origins are in the distant past, which essentially means he's eternal. And of course, a human is not eternal. So it points to this leader being God. But then where it goes on to say, "Then at last his fellow countrymen will return from exile to their own land." And it's so connected to like what's happening in the world today because, I've like, I believe in the whole stand with Israel and all of that. But I never really knew the the history there. I and I'm beginning to understand that through this reading. So, we're not there yet in the Bible. Again, this is a prophecy, but the Jewish people are scattered from their land, which is Israel and Judah. And it wasn't until 1947, 1947, the Jewish people really didn't even have their own land. So after World War One, the British they ruled over, what's modern day Israel, and at that time it was both a Jewish state and an Arab state, and there was just constant fighting that was happening then, and and Britain's like, yeah, we can't deal with this. Something's got to give. So Britain and the United Nations basically come to this agreement that they're going to divide Israel, and so it becomes Israel and Gaza and some other stuff in there. And it's so now instead of it being this combined Jewish and Arab state, it's split. So you have Israel, and now the Jews again have their own homeland, like it's theirs, and then you have the Arab state, and the the Muslim countries did not like this, like at all, when that happened. So in 1948, Britain pulls out, and Israel's immediately attacked the following day by 5 different countries, like Egypt and Turkey and some others. But if we get further into Micah 5, and this is where it kind of this all comes into play. So it says, "Then the remnant left in Israel," which the remnant refers to the Jewish people. And if you look, I mean, the Jewish people used to be, it used to be a large people group, and now it is 0.2% of the world's population are Jewish people. So it is literally a remnant. Uh, so it says the remnant left in Israel will take the place among their nations, and this is like when God brings the Jews back to Israel, which could be referring back to 1947. Uh, highly believed by a lot of people that it is. They will be like dew sent by the Lord, or like rain falling on the grass, which no one can hold back and no one can restrain. The remnant left in Israel will take their place among the nations. They will be like a lion among the animals in the forest, like a strong young lion among flocks of sheep and goats, pouncing and tearing as they go, with no rescuer in sight. The people of Israel will stand up to their foes, and all of their enemies will be wiped out. And it's just crazy that, back in 1948, Britain pulls out. This tiny, tiny little country gets attacked by 5 countries, and they stand their ground. And they're still here, and it's still, constant fighting, and Israel continues to stand. So it's just super interesting to like see all of this stuff in play, and like how these predictions from the Old Testament, even now in 2025, could, are essentially coming true. So you've got that. And let me get this pulled up. Hang on one second. So bear with me. So, like, even today, there's this movement of Messianic Jews, and if we look at like some of what's happening here, I've always had this understanding that in the millennial times, that's when so Jesus has come back. He's reigning here on earth, and like the old earth, not the new heaven and the new earth, but like this one, that there's like 1,000-year period that Christ is allowing his chosen people to have time to accept him. But that's not really how it works. It says that, I mean, the Bible has been clear that you only get to the Father through the Son. And it's not a case of like the God's chosen people getting a pass and then they get to accept him. They have to have chosen him to remain in that remnant. And if you look today, like there's this movement of Messianic Jews, and I mean, we've heard that term Messianic, and I've never really even put it together, that it's like, okay, these are Jews who believe that Christ is the Messiah. So there's this movement, and it's growing. So we're continuing to see this particular prophecy come true in modern times. So really, really interesting. Day 5's reading is going to be the last reading of the predictions or the promises, purely the Old Testament, and will be a bit of a mix of Old Testament and New Testament when we get into next week. And I'm really interested to see how that comes together, because I'm learning so much as I read this. So anyway, hope you found this interesting.